Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Thor Love and Thunder Korg Build-A-Figure, Thor. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Thor Love and Thunder Korg Build-A-Figure, Thor, or Armoured Thor as I'm going to call him, as we've already had Thor in this wave. Well, technically we've already had two Thors in this wave if you count Jane Foster as well, but now we're getting Thor, Odin's son, in his new sort of gold armour, which I assume the gods gave him an upgrade maybe. We don't know yet, but still, we've not seen this in live action, but we have seen glimpses of it in the trailer. So no interchangeable head. We have stuck with Thor and his helmet, but we may be able to do some head swaps, which we're looking to. No Build-A-Figure piece in the box, I've just noticed. Only a hand, and of course Stormbreaker once more. So yeah, one fisted hand, not even a pair of fisted hands. What's going on? How tight is that, Hasbro? Give us a pair at least. But no, just one fisted hand and Stormbreaker once more. But yeah, Thor in the armour. We get the broken hammer up top, a picture of Thor in his armour on the back there, that same image on the back, as well as a write-up that simply reads, Thor. Thor unleashes the power of Stormbreaker to overcome any foe. Very simple. And then, as always, you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to complete the Korg Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Thor. Or as I said, Armoured Thor, if you couldn't tell. He's wearing some armour. Let's get him open. So here we have Thor out of the packaging with all of his accessories. And I say all, but remember, no Build-A-Figure piece. We just get Stormbreaker and then one fisted hand, which I'm still confused why we only got one. Maybe it'll make sense when the film comes out. And same with the armour, because it's clearly a Thor-style armour, but we've never seen it in this particular colour palette before with the blues and the gold. Now, looking at the figure, it's a little bit jarring for me. It's not really my mind's eye of MCU Thor, but again, I've not seen the film, I've not seen the context in which he gets this armour, so I don't really have any attachment yet. But my assumption, as I've already mentioned, is he goes to visit the Greek gods. We know that in the trailer. Maybe Zeus gives him an upgrade, or he gets inspired by Zeus, something along those lines. But we only get one head as well, which is a helmeted head, so we're going to try some head swaps on here as well, obviously. But it is nice to see Thor in the MCU wearing his helmet full on, because we only really get glimpses of it in the MCU because they like to show off Chris Hemsworth, of course. So yeah, when I think of like comic Thor, I do think of him wearing a helmet. So I'm not mad to have a little bit of variety amongst our many MCU Thors. As if you've already seen my reviews, we know we have a lot of them. So I will do some comparisons, but first let's take a closer look at this armor. Starting up top with this helmeted head, when you first look at it, something does seem a little bit off, but I think it's genuinely, again, like I said, because we're not used to seeing MCU Thor in a full-on helmet. I think Hasbro have executed it pretty well. It may look a little bit big or oversized, but again, remember, that's a human head in a helmet. So I think this is pretty good. There's even a unique sort of action-style pose flowing in the wind with the hair there, with some nice sculpt, with some painted detail on there. So that's nicely done, sticking out the bottom of the helmet. Other than that, the helmet is nicely done with that sort of metallic, sort of marbleized Marvel Legends style metal, if you will, with the sort of gold shimmer glimmering under my light set with a little bit of blue highlights. Now, can you tell that's Chris Hemsworth behind the mask? Not really, but that's just because the mask covers most of the face. But his eyes are under there. They're still using that digital 3D printing tech, and then you've still got the beard. So I think they've done this pretty well. But again, we've not seen the film. I'm sure when we do, we will come back and appreciate this figure even more. And again, same with the actual design of the costume. This is undoubtedly Asgardian style Thor, as you've got all these discs with all these patterns, and you've got a mixture of blue, gold, chrome, black. It's nice. It's just not colours I'm used to seeing on Thor. So now we've got the chainmail, which is gold. Now, I do think there's a little bit of reuse here on these arms. I do think these arms, not including the sort of wrist gauntlet pieces, are the same as the Infinity War Thor. Do you know this one? Because the arms are just chainmail. So the rest of this figure is completely pinless, but I do think they sort of saved a little bit there, reusing the arms from the Infinity War Thor. Now that's a guess, I could be wrong, but you have got pins there, and then this gauntlet piece is pretty long and it covers that other pin. here, so you can only really see one anyway, which isn't a big deal. Again, it doesn't bother me, but yeah, these gauntlet pieces are new as well, with some golds and blue, and on the underside you've got blacks and reds, and that continues even on the hands as well. Usually Thor just has open, like plain hands, but you have got a little bit of this design now continued onto the hand, and you've got a bit of gold and black there. Same on that hand, so you've got one gripping hand for holding Stormbreaker, and then this one is sort of a more posed hand for when he's doing some lightning powers or something. But there you go. And then we get one fisted hand, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, we get the chainmail on the arms and the gold this time with the pins. As I said, that's where the reuse is. But the body's new, definitely. You've got the chainmail there underneath this sort of armor. The cape's attached up here at the pecs, and I'll show you that in a minute. They're down here to this sort of separate skirt piece, which is a softer plastic. So it will move out the way for the leg articulation. There's a swivel for the thigh under there as well. And again, nice pattern with the blues and the golds. And there's only black legs, but there is some really nice sculpted detail. Hopefully my lights can capture that for you, but yeah, some nice sculpted detail on those black legs, but the paint is all down at the knees. Some nice gold and sort of blue, sort of a metallic-y blue down here on the armor as well, which is really nice. And then some more chainmail all the way down to the shoes with well, boots, ankle pivot, rock out, all that good stuff. And again, pinless knees. So we've got pins on the arms, that's where the reuse is. They saved a little bit of money there, but then we got the pinless knees. So the legs look pretty good, and they do bend pretty well, even though he's got big thick legs. So remember, you've got the pivot up there for the thigh, double jointed pinless knees, ankle rocker, and pivot on there as well. So, and there's no waist cut. All the movement is up here at the top of the diaphragm. You've got the cut there. As you scroll back, you can see it's just all black. So they've sort of skimped on the paint there. So as soon as you start moving him back, they stopped with the paint of the armor. I would have liked to see that paint continue, because now you see a black strip as you're leaning back off. But if you're leaning forward, you're not going to notice so much. You do get some tilt as well, of course. So you get a little bit of rock, and then that's where you get your swivel there rather than at the waist. Arms will go the way up, double jointed arms, but because you've got the thick sort of gauntlets on the forearms, you're not really going to get on much further than that. But it's past 90 all the same, so I'm not mad about it. Again, the head's pretty good as we've shown, but if I take that off, you can see the cape is actually attached there at the pecs, and at the back, nice sculpted detail, but they skimped on the paint for the back, which I don't mind. It makes sense because the capes cover it anyway. If you wanted to cut this off, I guess you could up here and get a soft good cape. I know a lot of people appreciate doing that and prefer it for a more action pose on the shelf. But overall, this is a very nice looking Thor in a sort of more colourful armour than we're used to seeing. But yeah, it just makes me more intrigued to see the movie and see the origin of why he's went for gold and blue. But as I said, we've got one open palm hand, one gripping hand. that is so we can hold, well, I was about to say Mjolnir, but it's Stormbreaker, of course. So there he is, holding Stormbreaker nice and tight, no issues at all. That hand he can wield some lightning, but we also get a fisted hand, which is actually for the Stormbreaker hand. So if I take that off, you get the one fisted hand right there. There you go. Special attention. So is there a scene where he particularly punches someone? That's really important that we need to remember. I don't know, but there you go. One fisted hand, one open hand. So if you don't want him holding Stormbreaker, you can punch someone at least. But there you go. That is what you get. Everything you get for Thor is what you see on screen. Here's a look at the cape from behind. It's all red, but the sculpt actually helps create shadows when the light hits it. So it sort of keeps its shape really well. And as you can see, it doesn't even hit the floor. So you're not going to have to use it to help him balance. But Thor is quite a big guy anyway. He doesn't really need the help. You can see his feet poking through. So yeah, it's soft, but it's obviously always going to find its shape again with some nice creases in it. And yeah, it makes him cut a very nice silhouette, to be fair. I like the way that the cape is actually attached to the front and it drapes all the way over the shoulders without hindering the articulation. But yeah, it doesn't touch the floor. And yeah, he's a big guy. He doesn't need the help to stand. He can stand there nice and sturdy, no issues at all. So there's the cape. That looks pretty good. But first comparison, let's bring in the Ravager Thor, who is also in this wave. Now, with Jane Foster, we got two heads. We got a helmeted head and an unhelmeted head. So some people are saying, including myself, I would have liked to have the option with this armored Thor as well. But maybe they didn't give us one on purpose because you can use this one. So let's try that. So I think our theory is correct, as the head pops on this body, no problems at all. And if you remember that Ravager Thor, the hair was sculpted in a way where it sits over the Ravager jacket, and it does the same thing here of the cape and the armor. So the hair nicely sits on top of the cape, no issues at all, like it's all sculpted on purpose. Same with the back here, the hair actually drapes over the cape in a nice little crease, like it was intentional. So here we have our helmetless Thor. And again, it sort of looks like he's got a small head now, but he is wearing his full-on armor, so he's a little bit more bulked up, if you will. And if I zoom out a little bit to give you a better look, there you go. So now we have our helmetless Thor, if you want to use that head, and then obviously here's the Ravager body with the helmeted head, as you can swap both. But yeah, they're both clearly Thor. They scale pretty well together. I think this one's a tiny bit taller, but he is wearing his full-on armor, so I don't mind that. So yeah, shall we try any other heads? But this is definitely the best Chris Hemsworth likeness we have. But let's try another one, because why not? Here we have another head that we have from an MCU Thor. I think this is the Amazon 4-pack version, or maybe the Best of Avengers wave. I don't know, but either way, it's a Chris Hemsworth Thor head on this body. And I do think the other one worked better than this. But again, you have your options all the same. But yeah, this one is definitely the best Chris Hemsworth we got. Even the hair is a bit darker these days. But yeah. It's all in the eyes. He hypnotizes you. And here we have Thor compared to Thor, 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 compared to Thor. True story, I couldn't even fit them all on the table. And as I keep telling you, we've got more MCU Thors than I think any other Avenger in the collection, because he changes up his wardrobe more than anyone else. This guy clearly has his own stylist within the universe. I don't know, but look, each figure is different and sort of does justify having a new sort of figure made, right? So I know exactly which each one of these is from, so not a bad job, but a lot of Thors to choose from. So if you're one of those people where you only want one representation of a particular character, which Thor do you go for? And just to prove my point, here we have 8 different MCU Thors all lined up on the table. I genuinely can't even fit any more on, otherwise they will fall off. And there are more. We do have more MCU Thors, but here are just 8 different unique character designs for the character. So a lot of plastic for Thor. If we are going to take a closer look at any of them, I guess these ones make the most sense, as they're all Thor in some armor with the cape attached. So obviously this Infinity War version is all blacked out with a little bit of grey, but these two are a little bit more similar from our sort of early days Thor, sort of first Avengers Thor, if you will, to now with Thor and his 4th movie. No one else in the MCU has a 4th movie, so no wonder we have so many Thor figures. But yeah, as you can see, he's definitely been upgraded since the Avenger days. Can you bloody believe it? I went and found another Thor, but this time it is of course Jane Foster's mighty Thor, who we will see in live action very, very soon. Here we have Thor with some Guardians of the Galaxy with Star-Lord and Groot. Here we have Thor compared to the King. Of course, it's King Valkyrie. And then we may as well see what these 3 look like together, as I believe they're going to be spending a lot of time together in the movie. So Jane Foster Thor, Valkyrie, and Thor Odin's son, looking good together. Definitely looking forward to the movie now. Here we have Thor compared to Tigra and Frogman. And then last but absolutely never ever least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Thor Love and Thunder Thor. This is undoubtedly the most colourful and vibrant armour that Thor has wore in the MCU. How could it not be with those metallic golds and blues? They are definitely going to pop on the shelf, and I do like the full-on helmet effect and look as well, as we've got a lot of Thor figures. If you didn't know already, go and check out the comparison section. So it's nice to see a little bit of difference in there. I'm curious to see the context though, of course. My guesses are the gods gave him an upgrade, or maybe he's just jealous of Jane becoming Thor and wielding Mjolnir, so he goes, why not add a little bit of colour to stand out? I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'm always curious to know your favourite look for Thor as well, as we've got so many designs. If you're one of those people that only wants one character represented on the shelf, which design are you going for? Which is your mind's eye most iconic favourite look for Thor? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you want to see more Marvel Legends reviews, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlists, but most importantly, please, 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 hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please, hit that join button. Become a channel member. Why not? Show some love. Or join the members club. Much, much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at itsdanwho. And I'm on Twitter as well. Tweet me. Don't be shy at DanWhoReviews. And until then, people, my name is Dan W. And I will, of course, see you on the next one.